Howdy, everybody. Welcome to a little team analysis of my team for the Liberty University Draft League, or LUPD, as we like to call it. So I am the captain of the New York Froakies. Name originated from New York Yankees, and my name is John, or Jonathan, whichever you prefer, also known as Giga Laser. And I am joined here by the incredibly handsome Christian, also
Hey
known as
guys.
Christian Wants to Battle.
Hey.
And yeah, like I said, we're just going to go over a little analysis on my team. So the first pick, I'm going to do this in tier order, and I'm going to start off with my first OU pick, and that was a Mega Sableye. And I really like Mega Sableye. It is a very bulky Pokemon, only has one weakness, that being Fairy. And its ability Magic Bounce was what really made me pick it. The ability to be able to mainly to get rid, well, not get rid, but bounce back hazards if they use stealth rocks, spikes, whatever they may want to do. I can bounce that back and use it in my favor. That's really the main reason why I picked him. Yes, he's bulky, he can take hits, and I can do a lot of things like that, but Magic Bounce is the main reason. Plus, I just love him. I nicknamed him Izaya. It's a little reference to the anime Durarara, if any of you watch that. Uh, if you know the character, I don't know. Sableye just reminds me of it. And what do you think of Mega Sableye, Christian?
Um, I actually ran it a lot more than my mega choice, which is Mega Lopunny. I actually really like Mega Sableye. I know that, yeah, again, it has great defenses. Before this generation, it had a great ability, which is Prankster. Unfortunately, you can't use that or utilize that. But Mega Sableye or Sableye in general has been a huge staple for these last few generations, and it will
Yeah.
continue to be a great staple. So I think that your first draft pick was probably amazing. It actually scared the crap out of me. So
Yeah, and I was actually thinking of using Mega Lopunny. If you saw the other video, I mentioned that. And then I thought of Mega Sableye, and that's when I sort of was like, wait a minute, maybe I'll do Mega Sableye instead because of that magic bounce. And
yeah,
it gets nice, it gets recover. And again, before Gen 7, Prankster actually took effect when it Mega Evolved, so you would actually get the Prankster speed boost. Fortunately, that's not the case.
hmm
And with our draft rules, I have to Mega Evolve at first turn, so I can't make use of any Prankster shenanigans. So that's a
yeah,
bit upsetting, but it is what it is.
yeah.
Anyway, for my next OU Pokemon, I have the one and only Celesteela, which is named Stelia Girl, which I cannot take credit for that nickname. That credit goes all to Christian. We were thinking of a nickname for it, and he just blurts that out, and I thought it was amazing. Anyway, I love Celesteela. I am a VGC player, and my first active VGC season or year was VGC 17, which Celesteela was a pretty big part of, and I fell in love with it through that. And it is just a super bulky mon. It has access to Leech Seed, which is great for recovery. It has no straight up recovery moves, but if you have Leech Seed leftovers, it's gonna be recovering health a lot, and it's very bulky, so it won't be taking a lot of damage. Obviously, those fire moves and uh, thunder moves, or electric moves rather, are gonna hurt it. But this league actually has no legendaries. That doesn't include Ultra Beast because, some people don't include Ultra Beast as legendaries. So I have no fear of Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko is a thing. I maybe would have not picked this, but honestly, I probably still would have. But this thing has a lot of options, especially Heavy Slam, basically being a guaranteed base 120 on most Pokemon because of how heavy it is.
hmm
And it can run a lot of things. And what's your take on Celesteela?
When I saw you draft this, I immediately like before the drafts began, I knew my biggest problem 100% was actually going to be Celesteela. That's why I really feared your team. And even still, like Celesteela is amazing. It has the option to leech seed. It has great recovery options in that general aspect. It also, and this is kind of like lesser known, but it can be ran physically. It can run house, um, as a physical sweeper, and that beast boost is such a great ability. You just have so much versatility with this Pokemon. So the fact that you got it, the fact that you know how to use it. I mean, we've battled before, and I've seen you use this, and
Yeah,
it was
that's
a
another advantage I have is I know how to use this.
yeah,
And again, Beast Boost, I run mine usually to where it gets a special defensive Beast Boost. I know he's not in here, but Tapu Koko, if he was, if I had a special defense boost and the electric train ran out, I would actually be able to take Thunderbolts by from a Tapu Koko.
yeah,
And it is just a great mon, in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
And it was actually, I think, my third or fourth pick, and I was really scared to see it go, but I didn't want to choose it for my first one because it all depend. I had this whole plan in my head, and I was like, if someone does take Celesteela, I'll pick Bronzong. Then someone picked Bronzong, so I was like, I need to get Celesteela right away, and I was able to get it.
yeah.
So
It's a great mon. It
it
really
is.
is.
It is a beast. It can take hits, and it could most definitely give hits with that heavy slam.
Mhm.
Anyway, on to my next Pokemon, and that is one of my favorites, Alomola. I wish we got an Alolan form of Alomola, just so it could be an Alolan Alomola. But her nickname is Juvia. That's a fairy tale reference. Obviously, if you know the character, it's all water based. Honestly, don't know why I named it that. I guess I was just like not creative with the names because it reminds me nothing of Juvia besides the water. Anyway, Alomola is a great mon. I started using it back when it wasn't really known for anything. I think it was like RU back when I used it, maybe even lower. And I think now it's UU. Yeah, now it's UU because it's my UU pick.
Yeah.
But it is a great supportive Pokemon.
Hmm.
First off, it has Regenerator, which is one of my favorite abilities. And it has Wish, and Wish plus Regenerator is amazing because you choose Wish, you take your damage, you switch into your next Pokemon, recover their health. And when you switch, you are both recovering some of your health, but also Alolomola's health. I mean, look at that HP. That is insane. It's going to be recovering all the health of the Pokemon that switches in, depending on the HP. Obviously, if you're switching into a Blissey, it may not recover all its health, but it's recovering a good portion of most Pokemon's health. It's just a great, like, wish Pokemon, a good cleric, and Skull can get some burns, and it's a good wall. Offensively, nothing too special. It gets knockoff, which is pretty cool. So, what do you think of Alomomo, Christian?
Does it really get knockoff?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Holy crap. Well, I think a lot of people in this draft know about John. John's kind of famous. You see, John is famous because of this Juvia. All right. Juvia has been a huge, successful mon um, at Liberty, and the fact that he drafted it, no one, no one didn't see that coming. It was definitely he was definitely gonna pick it up, um, and the fact that he knows how to use it is even scarier. Um, he has crushed me so many times with Juvia. I cannot begin to tell you. I mean, like a month ago, he crushed me with it, and I'm actually really scared of it. You see, John's really good at making these kind of cores, and Juvia is a huge part of his core. So if I can't break that, it's definitely going to go downhill. It's unfortunate that it's a UU pick. Um, you know, Obviously, I think he picked it just because it was originally RU pick, and he loves lower tiers, but it's rightfully so a UU pick. So there's no complaints right there. It's still a great mon, it's a great wish passer, and it will definitely destroy a lot of teams. I've seen it. So
Yeah, I will say that's one thing that I dislike is that it is UU, so that sort of used up my UU slot. There are other Pokemon that I would have liked to have it, but I think Juvia helped my team a lot more. Um, anyway, let's go on to the next Pokemon. And that next Pokemon is another one that I really like, being Arcanine. Uh, Christian mentioned a core that I usually run, and it's in this team. It's a Alomola Arcanine, and I won't get to the next Pokemon just yet. I love Arcanine, and when I use Arcanine, I use it sort of differently. I usually use it defensively, like max HP, max defense with Rocky Helmet. I think it's a really good defensive mod. It's got Will-O-Wisp, Morning Sun. It sounds like it's not as good as a normal offensive Arcanine, but It's pretty good. Plus, that Intimidate is going to help its defenses. Other than that, the usual Arcanine is a really offensive Arcanine. Extreme Speed is really good. Getting that +2 priority. Flare Blitz, great move. Wild Charge, good against those water types. It's just an all around good Pokemon. There's a lot you can do with it. I could run it like fully support with Snarl, so I could get like Intimidates and special attack drops with Snarl. I could put like an Assault Vest on it to make it bulkier. I could do a lot of things with it. Uh, and yeah, what's your take on Arcanine?
Arcanine is one of my favorite fire types. I wouldn't consider this a snipe from me, but I did want this Pokemon. I had already used up my UU picks. Um, it's just such a great versatile mon. You can run it defensive or you can run it offensive. I think majority of us, the friend group that we have, we normally run it defensive just because, why not?
Yeah,
It's great special. It's like has a great special attack. So you really just don't know what it's gonna run. I found out that um, it also gets close combat, which is amazing,
yeah,
which makes me want to use it more in UU because or OU. The reason I don't really want to use it is because of Heatran. Usually I get walled hard by Heatran, but now that I know that it gets close combat, I'm definitely gonna bring it. It also has another ability other than Intimidate, which is Flash Fire, which is
yeah,
a great ability by itself. You can really, uh, I've seen people run like Flash Fire, um, Volt Absorb, just basically any, Sap Sipper, all these moves or all these abilities to just soak up hits and boost their stats and whatnot. It's a great kind of core. It's a great soaking up core. Again, this is one of John's famous cores, so he knows how to use it and is very scary.
yeah. With Arcanine, I just really like him. Um, and with the Flash Fire, like Flash Fire is a great move to use. Just I hardly find myself using it, but maybe in this draft I will, depending on what the opponent is. So anyway, let's go on to the next Pokemon, which is Snorlax. Snorlax over here. Oh yeah, by the way, Arcanine's name is Alpha. Snorlax over here, his name's Big Boy. Why? Well, I don't think I need to explain that. He is a big boy. Snorlax is a really good Pokemon, especially in Gen 7. If you don't know, Gen 7 changed some berry mechanics. Uh, the pinch berries that would recover 50% health, they didn't recover 50% health. They would just do 25%. I believe that's what the difference was. So now with Snorlax, with the ability Gluttony, it can now regain all its health at 50%. And that could be really useful, especially since it gets recycle. So that's basically a recover on Snorlax, which Snorlax doesn't really have any recovery moves besides rest. So that really helps it. And I think nowadays, 9 out of 10, you're going to see a Snorlax with recycle and a guava berry, figgy berry, whatever it be. And of course, with that, you could run belly drum on it. You could belly drum and get all your health back in that same turn. And that is absolutely massive. And that could really be threatening. As for your other move, you could run high horsepower, crunch, whatever it may be. Obviously, you want to have that normal stat move. But there's a lot you can do. You could even do something else with like thick fat or immunity if you wanted to. But I think Gluttony just outclasses those. And what's your take on Snorlax, Christian?
I do not know why it's in RU, honestly. It's I always thought it was UU, OU ish. I think it's definitely underappreciated. It has a great HP stat, great special defense stat. I normally do Curse Lax, um, Resto Chesto, but after getting handled by John's specific Snorlax, I actually asked him for a Breeject because I absolutely want this Snorlax on my team. Um, and I know in VGC it's a monster, um, but in singles it has to. I've seen it win championships. So this was a steal in my opinion. The fact that it's not taking a UU slot, and that the fact that it's a RU pick, I think it's an absolute steal.
Yeah, Snorlax is just one of those Pokemon that's just really great. And I think in singles, Curse is more better than Belly Drum, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, let's go on to the next Pokemon, which is actually Salazzle. And this one's nickname is Jazzle because I don't know why it just looks jazzy. When I see it, I think of jazz hands. Don't ask me why. Anyway, Salazzle, I really like Salazzle. Everything about it's cool, and you could run. It's basically your normal special sweeper, fire, poison. You got that ground weakness, so that's not fun. You could put an air balloon on that. You could put a focus sash on it. You could do whatever you want with it. Again, just your normal staple special sweeper. But when I drafted it, that's not what I had in mind. I actually had sort of a gimmicky set that I would use only if I saw it see fit, and that was a max HP, max speed, timid Salazzle. It protects, substitute, toxic, and then some sort of filler move, whether it be flamethrower, sludge bomb, or even hidden power grass for something, you know.
Yeah.
And basically, why? It's because he gets an ability, or she gets an ability called corrosion, which she's able to poison steel and poison types who are normally obviously not able to. So one thing I had in mind was a Mega Venus. I was able to toxic stall this. Like I was able to toxic stall Mega Venusaur, and that was my answer to a Mega Venusaur in one of my matches. And in this draft and in other matches that I've done, I've been able to toxic stall Mega Venusaurs. I've been able to toxic stall Heat Rans, you know, and it's really something that people don't expect, and
It's
it's
pretty
really
funny.
fun to use because I like to stall people out. I know stalling is one of those things when people see it, they're like, "Oh no, this." I find it really fun. I love seeing my opponent have a slow, nice death.
Oh my gosh, Josh.
Yeah, it's so fun to just have them watch as their Pokemon just they can't do anything. But
Mhm.
again, that's a very gimmicky move set. Salazzle is more of a sweeper. So, what's your thoughts on this girl?
Before I do want to put a disclaimer. I think John, he does generally run more stall, but he does it in a really funny way. Like, I don't think anybody can comfortably say that they can stall out with a Salazzle. Um, I would never dream of using a Salazzle to stall out someone. So, in my opinion, yeah, he is more of a stally player, but I think he makes it funny. I can't say it in the case of Celesteela, but all the other Pokemon is just kind of really funny. Just you're just kind of waiting to die at some point, especially when I faces Snorlax. I didn't want to forfeit, but it was like I'm slowly watching him get stronger and stronger. I'm gonna get wrecked hard. So I think it's funny. But Salazzle, I named mine Cubelios from Fairy Tale. Is that how you say the name? I don't know.
No, I have no idea. I haven't watched Fairy Tale in a long time.
Yeah, but I love Celestial or that Salazzle, right? I was already talking about Celestial, so I was confused. But
Yeah,
Salazzle is a great mon. It's one of my favorite seventh gen mons. The ability I don't really use that often. I think the problem with it and the reason it's probably in RU is just because of the move pool it has. But other than that, it hits hard, and I think it's gonna do great things
it,
in the draft. So, you know, I think it's a great pick, but I have nothing really else to say about it.
yeah, it's a great Z move user, in
Hmm.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, on to the next Pokemon, which is a Hitmontop. This is actually my Z captain, and this Hitmontop's name is Christian, after this guy over here because he does like to dance, and Hitmontop is he can bust some moves. So
Yeah.
whenever I think of Hitmontop, I think of Christian. Um, but this guy's my Z captain, as I said, fighting MZ, and this guy he can do all sorts of things. Sort of, he's got rapid spin, which is one of the reasons I picked him to get rid of those traps in case I couldn't magic bounce them with Mega Sableye. And he's got intimidate, which is great for support.
Hmm.
He has some good special defense. He could take those hits, so he could take special hits. He could take physical hits with intimidate. And then Z close combat is just a insanely powerful move. I had that in mind for someone who was bringing a Porygon too. Um, it would have destroyed that Porygon too. Unfortunately, that battle went a little bit differently, but I won't talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Himmeltop's a really good support Pokemon. He got Fake Out as well. Just a great support Pokemon. He can be offensive. He's got some priority moves, Bullet Punch. I just said Fake Out. They gets Faint, which is you don't really hear that in singles too much, I don't think. But I know it's used in VGC a little bit, but I probably wouldn't have brought that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your take on Christian? Christian?
I'm honored that you decided to call this thing Christian. When I first was typing it out, I was like, wait, what? So at some point, I was on John's team, so I'm pretty happy. Um, I don't really like that singlet he's wearing, but I mean that's just a personal opinion. I wouldn't wear that. Maybe I don't know. I'm still deciding. But I think it's a great Pokemon. Again, you've kind of already outlined some of the great things about it. I kind of was questioning why you chose it as a Z captain, but after first week of LUPD and seeing what people were doing with the Z captains and what you had hoped to do, and just seeing like other people, I kind of like ate my own words. So the fact that you had it as a Z captain was pretty amazing. Um, I'm glad I was the captain of your team. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, you were the captain of my
I
team, but
was the captain of your
we'll
team.
get that. We'll get into that later. Anyway, on to the next Pokemon, which is Cryagnola. I could be pronouncing that terribly wrong. So I'll just be referring it to its nickname called Let It Snow for obvious reasons. It's a snowflake. Let It Snow is a song about snow. Anyway, this guy, I really like this guy. He sort of became a meme in our little circle of friends,
Oh my
but before
gosh.
that, I still really liked him. He's another rapid spinner,
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons I picked him. Another reason is because surprisingly, he can take special hits a lot, like really good. Look at that special defense. Obviously, that HP is not looking too good, but it gets recover, which is like, that's pretty good. He could recover some moves, and he's got some decent speed. So if I wanted to use him as like a special sweeper, I more than could. If I want to use him as a special tank or wall rather, I definitely could. And he just has those two options, and of course that rapid spin. So what do you think of this little guy?
Yeah. I'm gonna call this Frank Sinatra because I keep thinking about Frank Sinatra every time.
All right,
But
yeah, reasonable.
Frank over here, he honestly I don't see what everybody's deal is. I actually love this Pokemon. It's a great rapid spinner. Rapid spinning, hazard removal in general is really important for draft leagues, and this kind of fits that bill. I've seen people run it offensively. I know I think it gets freeze dry.
Yeah, it
Um,
does.
yeah, and I mean, it may not look like it, but it can take hits, but it can also hit like a truck. So I think this is a good choice. I will say for these next few picks, I think you guys will see the theme, but it's kind of memey. Uh, Specifically, this one kind of is the meme, but I think the next one that we're going to talk about is the biggest meme of all.
I
Um,
will say people think this is a meme, but I legitimately was open to pick this for the draft. When people heard me pick this, they were like, "Oh wow, like that's funny," But I I legitimately wanted to pick this for the draft.
I don't
Um,
think it beats that Ribombi
oh yeah, the
pick.
Rebombi.
Oh
That
my
that's
gosh.
that will never I'll never forget that.
I will bring it up in every video.
Of course, of course, it's gonna be a tradition. We got to bring it up in every video. But the next Pokemon. Let's talk about him, Pyukumuku. If you're watching this, you're probably if you're smart, you're probably thinking, "Wow, you won this draft league already." Pyukumuku is a god. He is the best Pokemon ever. He is surprisingly not my favorite Pokemon, but he's very close up there.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love Pyukumuku, and he sort of became a meme within our circle of friends.
Hmm.
Like Christian said, I just really love him, and I always talk about him to the point where it might be getting annoying, but I don't
Oh,
care because Pyukumuku is amazing. I name him Pickles because he's a sea cucumber, and I like pickles, and cucumbers become pickles. So there's the logic behind that. Kikunuku is a cool boy, and he can do some things. He got unaware, so if anyone tries to set up, I can basically negate that and just be able to take their hits. Obviously, depending on the Pokemon and the way I built my Pikamuku. He has no offensive moves besides counter and
Yeah.
bide, so that's something. So taunt really screws him over.
Yeah, we
Uh,
found that out.
yeah, I don't want to go into that story, but
That's
I
awesome.
like him a lot. He's able to learn reflect and light screen, so he can support the rest of my team with that. He has curse and harden, which curse is good to use with baton pass, but this draft league actually is banning baton pass, so I wouldn't be able to make use of that. So might as well just use harden, because I'm not going to use that attack. um, Another thing it can do is actually it has soak, so you can actually soak toxic things. Because obviously you can't toxic steel and poison type, so you can actually soak them, turn them to water type, then toxic them. So let's say someone brings a Scizor with sword dances up.
Mm.
I can send him Pikamuku, and he's got unaware, can't do much against me. I could soak toxic you,
Hmm.
obviously, unless you switch out. But another thing he can do, which I might as well bring this up, but this doesn't really apply to the draft because one, we banned Baton Pass, and two, we banned this. He gets a move called Purify, which it cures the target of its like status, but heals 50% of your health. If you Z move that, it plus ones all your stats, and you can baton pass that. But we do have a rule in the draft league against baton pass again, but also against Z moves or any move for that matter, or I think just Z moves
Um,
that plus one all your stats.
yeah, omni boosting.
Yeah, that's what they called it.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, Pikamuku is cool and can be pretty good. What do you think of this guy?
this, I mean, I'm a follower, of this little G god.
Yeah,
Um, I think he's an amazing Pokemon. I think it's very versatile, and the support wise, it's amazing. Um, I'm not really sure how much you're really wanting it on your team, but I think it's a great pick, personally. Um, and I like how you're utilizing your favorite picks because I mean, if you look at it, I mean, your team name is your favorite Pokemon, right?
yeah,
Um, Juvia's in here, and then you got Pickles. So I really like that you chose mons that you really like, that you're very comfortable with. Um, Pickles is no exception. I don't think that it's a throwaway pick at all.
I don't
I
know.
think that you can definitely use it to your advantage. I think that also, um, although its lesser ability isn't widely used, innards out is amazing. I think.
Yeah,
I
innards
think,
out can be very useful.
yeah. Honestly, I mean, again, I would love to use Mons effectively, but if you're gonna throw away a Mon and you're gonna have to sack a Mon, I think it innards out Pyukumuku hits like a truck. So
Yeah,
that would be
I,
amazing.
I hate to sacrifice Pikamuku, but innards out can come in clutch in certain situations. And this is another one. I was actually not planning on choosing Pikamuku. Everyone thought I would.
Hmm.
They're like, oh, well, we know who he's drafting. But I wasn't planning on it. It wasn't until someone picked something else that I was like, maybe I'll pick Pikamuku after all because of Unaware.
Hmm.
I won't go into the specifics of why I chose Pikamuku, but that was it. I wasn't planning on it, but I'm sort of happy I did because I love my pickles.
Yeah,
Anyway,
unaware is amazing. So
yeah. Anyway, let's get to the next Pokemon,
the
which
snipe.
is Sliggoo, also known as Baby Godzilla, which I explained this in Christian's draft team analysis. I always name Gudras Godzilla, so being that this is a Baby Gudra, name it Baby Godzilla. Technically, it's not Baby Gudra, but you get it. Anyway, this was actually a snipe. Christian stole Godzilla from me, or Gudra. So I decided, hey, I'll use Sliggoo. Sliggoo is cool. I never used it. I used Goodra a lot, but Sliggoo, I feel like I could do the same thing, except the offensiveness of Goodra. Sliggoo is basically just a wall. I'm gonna obviously be putting Eviolite on it, and I'm basically gonna be most of the time having rest on it. So Sap Zipper is a great ability. Uh, Gooey's a good ability, and hydration is actually something I'm considering using. I might like put rain dance on this because again, I probably will be having rest on this,
Mhm.
so I can recover all my health and not be put to sleep because of the rain dance and hydration combo. So, what do you think of this little thing, this little slime thing?
Well, I just want to first say sorry about Gudra. To be fair, there was a line of snipes, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't. You weren't the only one that got sniped. I got sniped pretty hard
If
too.
anyone got sniped, it was you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm more important. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. You're more
but
important.
yeah, no, Sliggoo is an amazing Pokemon though. I've seen it get, obviously not a lot of drafters use it, but I've seen one in particular use it, and he actually just won a championship. Um, and I think it's a tank. I think aesthetically, honestly, I'm just going into aesthetics now, but I think it looks better than Gudra, so you already got something better. Um, Again, it has the same. It's the same exact thing, just lesser special attack. And even though that's the case, 83 base attack or special attack is not something to laugh at. It still can hit like a truck. Maybe not as effectively as Gudra, but it still has
Maybe,
that
maybe
option.
not as a truck.
Yeah, maybe more like
Maybe as a
oh
bicycle,
yeah, like a bicycle or like a tic
a
tac.
wagon.
Uh, but still, I mean, it still can do damage, and it has a huge move pool that it can effectively use. So I think it's a
Yeah,
great pick.
this is true. Anyway, let's get to the final pick of my draft league, that being Wish Cash. Uh, his name is I can't really explain it. Like I look at Wish Cash and I just think He just looks like that's what he's thinking all the time. I can't think of a nickname for him, but that's what I nicknamed him, and that's what I'm going for. Anyway, Wish Cash is pretty cool. Uh, he is. What else can I say about Wish Cash? He's pretty cool. I love his design. Design wise, he's amazing. I always loved Wish Cash, and I rag on him a lot for being like not that great, but you actually cannot sleep on Wish Cash. He can become very good. He has access to Dragon Dance. You could get Dragon Dance up, and you could sweep teams. I have done it on Showdown before. Other than that, you could run like a special Wish Cash. Maybe a special tank. Um, Other than that, I really don't know what you do with Wish Cash. I only ever used it as a Dragon Dancer. I guess you can do like a just normal physical attacking. You can maybe do Choice Scarf, but what do you think of this fish?
This fish. Um, wow. I've never used a wish cache, so honestly, I'm speechless. I'm looking at this thing for the first time in forever. I remember honestly catching it in third gen and throwing it away. So I'm not really, I don't really know what to say other than, it's just, you're right. It's so derpy, which I think is amazing. But the fact that it has a water and ground typing is amazing. Uh, Water and ground is definitely useful in this draft league because it's only affected by grass. I've had a Swampert um, in a draft league before, but and it did some amazing work. Like you said, it has Dragon Dance, which is great. Um, but other than that, yeah, yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know what to say.
Just perfectly describes Wish Cash and how
Yeah,
we feel about him. Uh,
I never thought about it until you said it, and then I was like, wow, all I can say is but
yeah, I love Wish Cash. I love using it, and I've always wanted to make one in game, but just never got around to it.
what do you
Um,
what do you what do you think about your whole draft so far? Like, I mean, obviously we didn't hit on the fact that Juvia Alpha and Goozilla is your official core. Well, it's actually Goozilla, but you got Baby
Yeah,
Goozilla.
yeah, I had to settle for baby.
Yeah, Baby is great. But not a lot of people understand that that core is actually pretty lit. Like, I'm gonna be
Mhm.
honest, like I never thought that those three Pokemon would ever stop me. But I remember my first battle with you. You absolutely demolished me just because you kept switching between those three Pokemon. And
Yeah, I love switching between Pokemon, and that's what really makes that core really effective.
mm-hmm,
Depending on the three Pokemon you have, they were part of the team where I first sat down and actually team build,
mm-hmm,
and it's probably like my best and my smartest and my proudest team I ever made. Um, and people don't really expect it to be that good, and that's one of the reasons why stealth rocks and all that will obviously like hinder it because I'm switching out all the time, which is why I need those counters. Which I think I did good with this draft team that I picked. I wanted an Espeon, but I went Snorlax instead
mm-hmm,
for that offensive power and that tankiness. And I think I did good. However, I made some trades,
mm-hmm.
and at the time I was like, yeah, I'm down with these trades, but afterwards I was like, I'm still happy with them. I'm sort of like, this might ruin me, or it might be really good for me.
But who knows? It
And
might be fun as well.
yeah, I the trades I made, I will have a lot of fun with them. But uh, my first pick was, one of my trades was Mega Glalie, and obviously this had to get rid of Mega Sableye. I ended up trading him as well, but Mega Glalie took the spot of my Salazzle, my good old toxic stalling Salazzle. I just thought, I wanna do something. I shouldn't be bringing a toxic stone on Salazzle, and even so, it has fire moves, poison moves, which honestly I just felt like I didn't need Salazzle that much. I do like it; it would have helped a lot, but I felt like I didn't need it. So I decided to pick up Mega Glalie, who was part of the trade list that we had, and I love Mega Glalie. Okay, he's probably my favorite Mega that there is, mainly because of Explosion Refrigerate. That's that's a very powerful move. Before Alolan Golem, it was the most powerful move in the game, and I really love using it. But besides that, it could do some work. I mean, return. I mean, it gets that boost from Refrigerate and that attack stat. It could also do double edge if you don't mind the recoil.
mm-hmm.
You could also run a special one with freeze dry. It does get freeze dry, and then ice beam for the more power. And if you want, if you're like done with Glalie, you could even hyper beam it. Other than that, that's really all it really does. It gets a lot of help from sticky woes, which I know I don't have on my team, but I could do some work with it. What do you think of this guy? And also, his name is Lagan,
Yeah.
which is a Gurren Lagann reference. Which, I mean, just look at him. He is Lagan. I mean, he's got like a drill looking thing on his forehead. So, what do you think of Lagan?
I love it. I remember we were talking, and it was before I posted the or I posted the list, and we were talking, and you know you were telling me about your team, and I told you, I said, listen, if this is your favorite Pokemon, pick it up. And so I guess I could be the one blamed for if this all goes bad, but I think that it's an amazing mod. I think that it's very underrated. Everything you just said, I never knew about. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I just never knew that it had all these great moves, and no one uses it, and I don't understand. It has an amazing speed. It's kind of like on that borderline of speed tiers, but still, it's a great speedster. Um, Again, explosion is the main aesthetic about it, and I
Yeah,
love the idea of you just taking someone out with explosion.
yeah.
Um, it may not be the kill leader ever, but it's gonna be amazing. I just want to see this thing explode, so I can't wait to see it in battle. I can't wait to see you use this Pokemon. I know you were again. You said it was your favorite Mega, and what better way to like introduce your favorite Mega than in a friendly draft like this? Because this is the main point. You're supposed to have fun, and if you're not having fun, then I don't know why you're playing.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm definitely gonna have fun with Mega Glalie. And again, Explosion is just too good, especially if you're low on that health. Like most Pokemon's like, all right, I can't do anything. Might as well sack them off. Glalie might as well explode and take out Pokemon that would normally resist ice moves.
For sure.
Obviously, depending on the Pokemon and its defenses. But anyway, obviously that took away my Mega Sableye slot, but I actually traded Mega Sableye first for this next Pokemon we're going to talk about. That's Scolipede. Uh, Scolipede, when I saw that up on the trade, I immediately wanted him. And he
We
is
know.
OU. He is OU. So I actually ended up just immediately saying I'll trade Mega Sableye for Scolipede, and Christian over here was like, the trade's gonna be live Wednesday, so you gotta wait a couple days. I was like, oh, whoops! So I deleted so no one could like snipe it from me. But like, I was up. Like it was the moment it hit midnight. I was like, Mega Save Life for Scolipede.
We were
But
talking at that time too, so I
yeah,
reminded you. It was pretty funny.
yeah. And I immediately wanted him. I had to choose if I wanted to get rid of Celesteela or Mega Sableye. And that was a hard choice, but I'd rather have Celesteela. My biggest concern with that is I no longer have Magic Bounce. Um, but I still got Rapid Spin on Cryogonala, and no longer Hitmontop, which you could probably tell why no longer Hitmontop. But anyway, Scolipede is just a great mon. It could set up Toxic Spikes, and it can become a sweeper like that. I mean, it's got Speed Boost, it got Sword Dance. So you use Sword Dance, you got +2 and +1 in attack and speed. You're suddenly a really fast, powerful threat. Unfortunately, its strongest bug move is Mega Horn, which has 85 accuracy, so it technically should hit 85% of the time, but it will feel like it hits, 20% of the time because that's
Really?
how Pokemon accuracy works, apparently.
Yeah. Straight
Uh,
up.
Good old RNG. But even that, you could run it defensively with Toxic Spikes. You could even run Iron Defense. I was thinking, like make it, stally, but you can do some things with it. You can't baton pass it, so that sort of limits it, sort of. But even without baton pass, it is a wonderful, wonderful Pokemon. What do you think about this guy? And his name's Shino after Naruto, which Naruto is the best show ever. So, what do you think of Shino?
I think Sheena was definitely a great snag. The fact that I can set up hazards. I would have personally, if I were you, I would have made it your Z captain. But other than that, it still hits like a truck. It's an amazing mon. Speed boost is such an amazing ability. Uh, and although you can't baton pass it, I don't think you really necessarily need to. Uh,
Yeah,
I I made the joke to you because your original team, your team that you usually bring has a mega Beedrill, and
yeah,
I almost wanted you to name this little Beedrill or something like that because it kind of is like that. It's a small little Beedrill, without using your mega slot, you know,
yeah,
and I think that you can effectively use this. You're definitely going to be outspeeding mons that don't have priority. It has a pretty darn good, like a versatile move set. You get Aqua Tail, Poison Jab, Earthquake. I think some other stuff. If you don't want to risk it for the biscuit, you can run X Scissor. Um, but yeah, I think it's a steal. Especially when I generated it, when I randomly brought it up, I was like, man, this is gonna get taken so fast, and it was. It was the first thing taken, so I'm pretty happy about that. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I was thinking after I chose my Z captain that maybe should have chose this as my Z captain, but I think it'll work out. I'm happy with the Z captain I chose, but this guy as a Z captain would be really cool because you could do obviously Z Mega Horn, which would be insane, a Z Poison move, and you can even do like Z Water, Z Aqua Tail, which would be a surprise, a shock to a lot of people. Anyway, let's get to my next trade, which I traded for Hitmontop, my original Z captain. I'm sorry, Christian, you're no longer on the team.
no
I had to
longer
cut you.
captain.
Yeah, I had
Yeah,
to cut you off the team.
I
I
was
replaced you with
underwhelming.
Charizard.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh, that's okay.
Uh,
You replaced me with one of the original starters.
yeah, one of the original. Actually, my least favorite of the original three. My favorite being Bulbasaur. I don't know why it gets some hate, but Charizard's
That's
pretty
my
cool.
favorite
He,
Pokemon.
yeah, yeah, right. He's cool. But Charizard's my new Z captain. He replaced him on top. His name's Charlizard. If you know what that's a reference to, I'm happy. I'm not going to say what it's a reference to because I want you to figure it out. But I doubt anyone will. But he's my new Z captain, and I like Charizard. Um, he's cool. He gets Dragon Dance. He can do some things. Obviously, Stealth Rocks is a problem. And one of the problems, one of this is basically the only reason why I look back on my trade and I was like, "Ooh, this might hurt me," is because I traded a lot of my hazard counters. I really only have one more, and that's Cryogonilla, who will take 25% from Stealth Rocks when coming in and all that.
Hmm.
So Charizard obviously does not like Stealth Rocks because of that. Uh, 4 times weak to rock, but I could do a lot with him. I could do Dragon Dance, a physical Dragon Dance set. I could also do a the typical special sweeper, which is what I probably will be doing most of the time. And as for a Z move, I could do anything. I could do Z Fire. I could even do Z Grass with a Solar Beam and catch people off surprise. If I didn't feel like bringing a Z move, I could do Power or Solar Beam, which I don't know why I would. There's really no point in doing that over the Z move. But I could do a lot with it. If I decide to opt out of the Z move, I could do Choice Scarf, Choice Band, Choice Specs. Really, a lot he can do. He's just basically a special sweeper, but can be physical.
Hmm.
That could catch people off surprise. What do you think about this flying lizard?
Um, Charizard was originally my favorite Pokemon. Obviously, it's changed. Venusaur is now my favorite Pokemon, but I still love Charizard. Yeah, the Stealth Rocks kind of sucks. I think you can definitely use it though. It's definitely got a great ability in solar power. And I remember talking to you about using Sunny Day, Z Sunny Day, which boosts your speed. So
Yeah,
essentially, you have not only a band, but you also have a scarf,
yeah,
and it just hits like a truck. If you can get it out, under the right conditions, it'll destroy people. And that 100 speed isn't really bad, so you can really catch a lot of water types off guard by just going sunny day. Um, so I think it's a good steal. I think if you're hurting for a fire type, that's probably the best fire type to get at this point, especially making it your Z captain. So I think it's a great pick.
yeah. When you mentioned that Z Sunny Day strat, I never even thought about that. I didn't even know what Z Sunny Day did, and I was like, I'm definitely gonna be bringing that to a draft match, and even if not, I'm gonna be bringing it to like a match outside of the draft league, whether it be like a singles match or even VGC, which I don't think I ever would, but maybe as a little meme at a premier challenge. But yeah, that's basically my whole draft team, and I made some trades, and I'm proud of it. I like it. I'm excited to use it. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Which again, as Christian stated, is the whole point of this draft league. I'm not really looking to win. However, there is a prize of one free hug. So I'm doing my best to get that. I want that hug, but most of all, I want to have fun, and I think I will have a lot of fun with this team. Yeah, that's basically it. Anything you want to add, Christian?
um, Nothing much. I just want to say that first of all, your team is absolutely scary. Even after the changes, it's still scary. And although you only have one rapid spinner, you still have one free trade um, to use up. And also, between weekends, your opponent and you could trade. So if he has a Pokemon that he wants, but not necessarily what you need, you can trade for a defogger, rapid spinner, hazard removal. So it's not exactly out of the question. You still have options, which is amazing. But I think that, looking back on your draft and going through each and every mon and just seeing what you have to say about it, I think that they're all well thought, like, thought out plans. And the fact that you are using mons that you love and not just what the Pokemon community says to use, I think that's amazing. So Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing with Pokemon is that I will never use a Pokemon that I don't enjoy using or like. Granted that I like basically every Pokemon except one, but I will always use Pokemon that I enjoy using and have fun using. But that's basically it for this video. Thanks for joining me, Christian.
No problem.
Uh, and thank you if you're still watching for watching. And yeah, see ya.
See ya. Perfect.
Yay.
That was 50 minutes.
50?
Yeah, dude, these are long. Oh, it's
I expect them to be long, but not 50.